One day when everything seemed ordinary and indescribable, heaviness appeared inside me and I felt like something was going to change. Bradley's coffin lid close, still in your black dress, when your phone rang. We had buried my husband 2 hours ago. 2 hours. An unfamiliar number flashed on the screen. Normally, you wouldn't have answered. But this day wasn't a normal day. Nothing was normal. Mrs. Caldwell? The woman's voice was trembling. It was old and frail, but it was a tone that suggested she had something urgent to say. I'm Eleanor Price. I was Bradley's high school teacher. We need to meet. Now. Your heart skipped a beat. Bradley's teacher? Why? Why now? Ma'am, today isn't a very good day. I know, child. You were at the funeral. I was there too, in the back row. But there are things I need to tell you. About Bradley, and about the person who's waiting for you. The one who waited. The words sent shivers down your spine. What do you mean? Life sometimes takes a turn you never expected. Even if you try to appear strong, you begin to crumble inside. Every breath becomes a little harder. Every step feels a little heavier. Everyday sounds fade away. Thoughts sink into their own weight. The burden your heart carries is invisible, but it's felt most deeply by you. Something has changed for a while, but it's not easy to say it out loud. And at that very moment, the story begins silently. The silence on the phone was unbearable. Then the woman whispered, "There's someone in your house, or there will be. Very soon. And if you come face to face with him, please listen to me. Riverside Cafe, in an hour. Come alone." Before the line went dead, you heard something in the background. A male voice. It sounded like he was shouting. Then silence. "Naomi?" Victoria's voice brought you back to reality. Your best friend was standing in the doorway, a hot cup of tea in her hand. She hadn't left you since the funeral. "Who was that? You don't look well." "Bradley's old teacher." Your voice was mechanical. You were still in shock. "He wants to see me." Victoria frowned. You knew he was worried about you. He'd been with you for the last 6 days, ever since you heard the news of Bradley's death. They'd said it was a car accident. Slippery roads, out-of-control vehicles, instant death. Clean, quick, painless. But for you, nothing was clean. Because you knew Bradley had been acting strangely for the last 3 months. The late nights at work, the sudden panic attacks when he checked his phone. And that night, the day before the accident, he had something he'd been trying to tell you. "Naomi, listen to me," Bradley had said, holding her hands. There was fear in his eyes. Real fear. "If anything happens to me." "Stop." You laughed then. "Don't be ridiculous. What's going to happen to you?" But he didn't laugh. "If anything happens, don't trust anyone, especially." At that very moment, his phone rang, and Bradley ran outside. You never picked up that conversation again. The next day, he had that car accident. "Naomi!" Victoria pulled you back to reality. "I don't know where you're going, but I'm coming with you." No, my voice was unexpectedly firm. "I have to go alone." You could read the expression on Victoria's face. Concern, hesitation, maybe a little anger. "Naomi, you just lost my husband. You're not emotionally stable. No one should leave you alone like that." "Victoria, please." You put your hand on her shoulder. "I need to have this conversation. Do you understand?" Your friend looked at you for a long moment. Then he sighed. "Okay. But keep your phone on. If you don't let me know in an hour, I'm coming looking for you." Riverside. In 20 minutes you were in front of the cafe. It was a small, plain place, on the edge of town, the kind no one would notice. When you walked in, Mrs. Eleanor, you spotted Price immediately. He was sitting at the corner table by the window, his hands shaking as he held his coffee cup. "Mrs. Caldwell," the woman tried to stand up, but you motioned for her to sit down. You sat across from her. "Mrs. Price, please tell me what happened. That thing on the phone. What does person waiting mean?" Tears welled in the old woman's eyes. "Bradley was one of my best students, a bright, talented, kind boy. But when he was 17, something happened. Something changed him." Your heart sped up. "What happened?" "There was a girl named Isabelle Reed, the most popular girl in school. Bradley had a crush on her, but Isabelle played games with him. Just games. And Bradley, poor kid, gave her everything. Money, time, even the things he stole from his family. And Isabelle? She made fun of him. Then she threw him away." Your heart sank. Bradley had never told you about this girl. Why? And what does this have to do with me? Mrs. Price leaned forward. Her voice dropped. Because Isabelle Reed came back, Naomi, 3 months ago, and Bradley became her business partner. The blood drained from his brain. What did you say? Bradley's company. He took on a new partner 3 months ago. Isabelle Reed. He'd changed his name. He'd been married. He'd been divorced. But it was him. And when Bradley called me a week ago, he was scared. Mrs. Price, he'd said, I've made a big mistake, and I've put Naomi in danger. You started to tremble. What danger? What did Bradley do? I don't know, child. Her phone went dead before she could tell me. But she did say, if anything happens to me, tell Naomi. It's safe in the house. The red book. It's all there. And then she added something else. Mrs. Price's voice broke. She said, Isabelle is in danger. The world spun. You stood up, almost falling. No. That's not possible. We lost Bradley in a car accident. That's what the police said. The police reported what they saw, Naomi. But you're a lawyer. You know how to investigate. Did you review the accident report? Did you really review it? Actually, no. You were in shock. Marcus Thorne, the detective on the case, had given you a simple explanation. Loss of control, accident, case closed, no trial. But now, at Mrs. Price's words, something clicked in his mind. It's safe, you whispered. The red notebook. Where is it? You should know this. Bradley had a special place in the house. The one only you knew about. Look there. You grabbed your bag. Thank you, Mrs. Price. Right away. Naomi, wait! The woman grabbed her arm. There was panic in her eyes. Be careful. If Isabelle finds out what you know, please don't go alone. Take someone with you. But you were already walking to the door. Your mind was only on one thing. The safe in the house. Bradley's secret safe. Behind the bedroom wardrobe, there was a secret panel in the wall. Only you and Bradley knew about it. It was hidden from view. Hidden so a casual burglar wouldn't find it. It was after 6 in the evening when you jumped in your car and floored the gas. The sky was a reddish orange. You were 20 minutes from home. But something was bothering you, Mrs. Price's last words. The one who waits. Your phone rang. Victoria. Naomi. Where are you? It's been an hour, I'm worried. I'm going home, Vic. I need to check on something. Are you alone? Yeah. But, Naomi, no. Victoria's voice hardened. I warned you. Wait. I'm coming. Victoria. Calm down. I'm just going home. It'll be okay. But your friend had already hung up. You didn't care either. Your mind was elsewhere. The red notebook. Isabelle Reed. Bradley's last words. The sky was almost dark when you pulled up in front of the house. The lights were off, just as you left them. But something was wrong. The front door. It was ajar. Just a little. Maybe a few inches. But you had locked that door. You were sure. Your heart began to beat wildly. Mrs. Price's voice echoed in your head. The one who's been waiting for you. You reached into your bag, searching for your phone. But the screen was off. The battery was dead. Damn it. You'd forgotten your charger in the car. What should you have done? Should you have turned back? Should you have called for help? But if someone was inside and found that red notebook, you took a deep breath. You were a lawyer. You'd learned to deal with nightmares. This was another nightmare. Maybe the wind had opened the door. Maybe you were paranoid. Maybe darkness engulfed you when you walked in. You reached for the light switch, but there was no power. Had a fuse blown? You pulled out your phone and tried to turn on the flashlight, but it was no use. The battery was dead. You began to make your way through the darkness, following the familiar layout of the house. You crossed the living room. You headed for the stairs. The bedroom was on the second floor. The wardrobe was there. The hidden safe was there. You could hear your heartbeat with every step. Your throat was bone dry. And then, you heard a noise from upstairs. Was it footsteps? Or were you dreaming? You stopped. You listened. Silence. Maybe you were dreaming. You continued up the stairs. The hallway was dark. Your bedroom door was closed. You reached for the doorknob. You were shaking. Why were you so scared? This was your own home. The moment you opened the door, you saw the silhouette inside. Someone was standing by the window, in the dark, motionless, watching you. You wanted to scream, but no sound came out of your throat. You stumbled backward, and at that moment, that person moved. They walked towards you. Naomi. It was a female voice, familiar yet unfamiliar. You've finally arrived. The light came on. The sudden brightness blinded you. But you saw the woman standing before you. Isabelle Reed. She was in her mid-30s, elegant and beautiful, but her eyes were glacially cold. She held a folder in her hand. A red folder. Isabelle laughed. Her voice was sweet, but there was venom underneath. Bradley's little secrets? Oh, Naomi. Poor, naive Naomi. I knew my husband never told you anything. Your voice trembled. You, Bradley. Isabelle continued to laugh. Is a big word. I just accelerated the inevitable. Why? Tears started to flow. Why him? Because Bradley was an idiot. Isabelle's voice hardened. He planned to get back what he stole from me 15 years ago. The money, the company, everything. But he forgot. I'm Isabelle. I'm Reed. And I don't lose. You took a step forward. Is there any evidence? Is there any evidence in that file? Isabelle held up the file. Evidence? Oh yeah, it's all here. The money Bradley transferred to me. The forged signatures. The money laundering. All of it. But you know, Naomi, evidence is only useful if it falls into someone's hands. And those hands, they're not your hands right now. You looked around in panic. An escape route. A weapon. Something. But there was nothing. But don't worry. Isabelle walked to the door. I won't kill you. That would be too clutch. No, you will destroy yourself. What did he mean? But Isabelle was already gone. Footsteps echoed down the hallway. The stairs descended. And then, the door closed. You ran to the window. Isabelle was getting into her car. A black sedan. She left. And you were left there, alone, without the red notebook. But then you realized it. On the opposite bed, under the pillow, there was something. A small white envelope. It had your name on it, in Bradley's handwriting. Trembling, you took the envelope. Inside was a note. Naomi, if you're reading this, I'm no longer alive. Isabelle. She planned everything, but she forgot one thing. Real safety. Real safety. In my office. Marcus, go to Thorne. Just trust him. Code 2709. I love you. I will always love you. Marcus Thorne. The detective. The man who reviewed the accident report. Bradley trusted him. But could you? When you opened the door and stepped out into the hallway, Victoria was standing there, out of breath and sweating. Naomi, the door was open. I went in. Are you okay? Your face is very white. You hugged her. You hugged her tightly. Victoria, Bradley. He was murdered. And the killer. He was just here. His friend's expression changed from shock to horror. What? Who? Where? Isabelle Reed, Bradley's business partner. You showed him the note. Vic, Marcus, we need to find Thorne. Now. Victoria read the note. Then she looked at you. There was something in her eyes. For a moment. Hesitation? Fear? Marcus Thorne? He repeated. Naomi, do you really trust him? That question stopped you. Bradley was confident. But you? I have no choice. You headed for the door. Let's go. But Victoria grabbed his arm. Naomi, wait a minute. I need to tell you something. Marcus Thorne, he's Isabelle's ex-boyfriend. The world revolved around you. What did you say? They met in college. They had a long relationship. Then they broke up when Marcus became a cop. But Naomi, if Marcus is still with her, if this is a trap, your head is spinning. Trust no one. That's what Bradley had said. Especially, who in particular? He didn't finish the sentence. Maybe he was talking about Marcus. But maybe from Victoria. You took a step back. You looked at your friend. You'd known him for 10 years. He was your best friend. He'd always been there for you. But now that look, that hesitation in his eyes. Victoria, your voice was harsh. Do you know Isabelle? Silence. A long, unbearable silence. Then Victoria sighed and smiled. A cold, calculating smile. Naomi, Naomi, Naomi. She shook her head. You thought I was your best friend for 10 years. And I really was your friend. Until Bradley contacted me. Your heart stopped. What? 6 months ago, Bradley came to me. He said, Victoria, protect Naomi. Isabelle's after her. And I said, sure, Bradley, I'll protect you. But actually, a glint crossed his eyes. I'd actually known Isabelle for years. You thought I was a social media consultant, didn't you? No, Naomi. I'm Isabelle's lawyer. Betrayal. Even words were inadequate. You had lost your husband. Your best friend had used you. Everything was a lie. Why? You whispered. Why did you do this to me? Victoria shrugged. Money, of course. Isabelle pays well. And you were so trustworthy, Naomi. You shared everything with me. Your passwords, your files, everything you knew about Bradley. I passed it all on to Isabelle. And now, she walked to the door. Now it's over. Marcus has the safe code. And Marcus has Isabelle. And you can't do anything. After Victoria left, you collapsed to the floor. You didn't cry. You didn't scream. You just sat there. And you thought. Bradley left you something. A code. 2709. But where were you going to use it? Is it in his office safe? But his office was sealed off by the police. You couldn't get in. Or you could have entered. Because Naomi, you were Caldwell. You were one of Oakland's best criminal defense attorneys. You knew how to break into buildings, find evidence, work the system. And now, you were going to do it. Find Bradley's killer. Uncover the truth in that red notebook. Isabelle, you were going to destroy Reed. But first, Marcus, you have to find Thorne. You have to find out if he's really with Isabelle. Because if Marcus was the enemy, you had no allies left. You plugged your phone into the charger. The screen lit up. There was a message. Unknown number. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Warehouse. District 47. Come alone, Marcus. A world that appears calm from the outside can be hiding a great upheaval. Even if a person knows what they want to say, they can't find the words. Lost in their own emotions, time slowly slows down. Signs of a breakdown begin to appear, but no one can see them. A slight unease turns into a deepening silence. Everything seems under control, but one senses it's an illusion. This very silence is the darkest beginning of the story. You stayed up all night. You couldn't sleep. Thousands of thoughts swirled in your head. Victoria's face, Isabelle's smile, Bradley's last look. And now Marcus, Thorne, tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Warehouse. District 47. It could have been a trap. It probably was. But what other choice did you have? At 6 o'clock a.m. black jeans, a black sweater, comfy sneakers. You left the house with a small knife, pepper spray, and a fully charged phone in your bag. But first, you had to go somewhere. Bradley's office. Caldwell's office was downtown. 10 stories high, modern, with a glass facade. Bradley's office was on the 9th floor. The police tape was still on the door. It said no trespassing, police inspection, but you were a lawyer. And the security guard in this building knew you. The young security guard, Raymond, was surprised to see you. Mrs. Caldwell, I am so sorry for your loss. You plastered a fake smile on your face. Thanks, Raymond. I need to pick up some personal items from Bradley's office. Just 10 minutes. Raymond hesitated. But, ma'am, there's police tape. If you haven't asked permission. Raymond. You lowered your voice, walking closer. Bradley's wedding ring is there. He died the day he stopped wearing it. I want it. Just 10 minutes. No one will ever know. The young man sighed. He had always had a soft spot for you. Okay. But please hurry. Shift changes at 7 o'clock. Be out by then. You felt your heart pounding wildly in the elevator. Floor 9. The doors opened. The hallway was empty. You walked to Bradley's office. You carefully removed the police tape and stepped inside. The office was exactly as you had left it. Bradley's desk, the scattered files, the framed diplomas on the wall. But you didn't look at any of that. You headed for the bookcase in the back. You remembered where Bradley had told you to go. My favorite place is behind the books, he always said. You thought he was joking. You knelt down next to the bookcase. Your hands felt the shelves. Then you found it. The bottom right corner. A small gap between the wall and the shelf. You pressed it with your fingers. A click. The panel slid open. Inside was a small electronic safe. The digital keypad was blinking. You took a deep breath. You entered the code. 2709. The green light came on. The door opened. You didn't know what you'd find inside. But what was there changed your life? 3 flash drives. A stack of photos. A voice recorder. And at the bottom, it wasn't a red notebook. It was a blue folder. It said Phoenix Project. You reached for the file, your hand trembling. When you opened it, there was a list of names on the first page. 15 names, numbers next to each one, millions of dollars. And at the top, Isabelle Reed. But underneath that was another name, Victoria Ashford. And at the bottom, Marcus Thorne. You felt sick to your stomach. Marcus too? Was he Isabelle's partner too? Or something else? You flipped through the file. The second page contained photos. Isabelle and a group of men. They were on a luxury yacht, raising champagne glasses. You looked at the date. 3 months ago. Bradley's the day he became partners with Isabelle. Page 3. A wire transfer. $5 million. From Isabelle's account to an offshore account. The recipient's name was blacked out. But at the bottom was a small note in Bradley's handwriting. MT insurance policy. MT Marcus Thorne. Insurance policy? Was Bradley sending money to Marcus? Why? You pulled out your phone and photographed every page. Then you tossed the flash drives and voice recorder into your bag. You put the file back in its place. You closed the case and closed the panel. Everything looked the same again. It was 6:47 when you left the office. Raymond's shift ends at 7 o'clock, right on time. You got on the elevator, but it stopped on the 3rd floor. The doors opened. Marcus Thorne walked in. The blood drained from his brain. The detective looked surprised to see you. Or maybe he was just pretending to be. Mrs. Caldwell. His voice was flat, emotionless. What are you doing here at this hour? You tried to speak calmly. I came to get Bradley's personal belongings. What are you doing here? Marcus pressed the elevator button. Floor 9. Of course. Bradley's office. Routine check. Closing the accident file. The accident report. As if Bradley had actually died in the accident. Detective Thorne, I need to talk to you. Marcus turned to you. His eyes were cold. Speak. It's not here. I received a message from you. Warehouse District 47. 10 o'clock a.m. Will you be coming there? The detective's face did not change. I didn't send that message. Your heart stopped. What? They stole my phone. Last night. I even filed a report. If someone sent you messages in my name, it's a trap. The 9th floor. Marcus got out but turned. Mrs. Caldwell, if you answered that message, do not go. Do you understand? Do not go. Before the doors closed, he called out to her, You, Isabelle. Do you know Reed? Marcus paused. A long silence. Then he turned his head. There was something in his eyes. Regret? Fear? Yes. His voice was quiet. I knew him. Used to. But he died to me. Years ago. The doors closed. You went down to the lobby. You thanked Raymond and went out. It was 7:05 am, 3 hours left. Warehouse should you have gone to the district? Marcus said it was a trap. But maybe he was lying. Maybe he really was with Isabelle and was trying to talk you out of going on that date. You were confused. You couldn't trust anyone. Victoria had betrayed you. Marcus's true intentions were unclear. Even Mrs. Price. Maybe she had an agenda too. You knew only one thing. Bradley had been killed. And Isabelle Reed had done that. You sat in a cafe. You opened your laptop. You plugged in your flash drives. The first drive was full of financial records. The Phoenix Project. Isabelle Reed's transfers to offshore accounts. $15 million. 5 different accounts. All under false names. The second disc was the audio recordings. It began with Bradley's voice. Date. October 15th. Isabelle met with me again today. She wanted the money, the final payment I promised. But she threatened Naomi. She said, if you don't give me that money, I'll reveal my wife's little secrets. What secrets? Naomi has no secrets. But Isabelle acts like she knows something. I'm scared. I'm scared for Naomi. Tears streamed down your nose. Bradley had tried to protect you. He had tried to save you. And he was dead. The third disc was photos. Isabelle and a group of men. But this time it was different. One of the photos showed Marcus. He was in uniform, young, maybe 25. He was laughing with Isabelle. They looked happy. But in the last photo it was Victoria, side by side with Isabelle. It was from 2 years ago, long before she met Bradley. Isabelle all along. Her friendship with you was a game. It was all planned. You closed your laptop. You looked at the clock. 9:30. Half an hour left. Warehouse, were you going to the district? You picked up your phone. You dialed Marcus's number. It rang 3 times. Then it was picked up. Mrs. Caldwell. Marcus's voice was tight. I told you not to go. I'm leaving. You said firmly. But I want you to be there too. If you really care about Bradley, if you really are Isabelle's enemy, be there. Silence. Then Marcus sighed. Okay. But come armed. And stay in the back. I'll go in first. The line was cut. Warehouse. The district was in the city's old industrial district. Abandoned factories, decaying buildings. Number 47 was the large warehouse building on the corner. Red bricks, broken glass. At 9:55, you parked the car a short distance away. You hid the pepper spray in your pocket and the knife in your boot. You took a deep breath. Marcus hadn't arrived yet. Or maybe he was inside. You didn't know. You walked to the warehouse door. It was ajar. There was no sound coming from inside. You went in. It was dark. The only light coming from the broken glass in the ceiling was old machinery, piles of junk, rusted shelves, and in the middle, a chair, someone tied to it. Your heart started beating wildly. As you approached, you noticed the person, Mrs. Eleanor Price. When the old woman saw you, her eyes widened. Her mouth was taped. She tried to scream, "Mrs. Price!" You ran over to her. You pulled the tape off. "Who did this to you?" The woman was out of breath. "Trap, Naomi. It's a trap. Run." But it was too late. A voice was heard behind you. "Very late. You're back." Isabelle Reed was there, gun in hand. And next to him, Victoria. "Hello, Naomi." Victoria smiled. "I thought you wouldn't come. But you're so predictable." Isabelle stepped forward. She pointed the gun at you. "Where are the files?" "What files?" You tried to keep your voice calm. "The flash drives in Bradley's office." "Cut the crap. We saw you on camera." "Raymond, the security guard is ours. He always was." The world was slipping from under their feet. Not even Raymond? No one could be trusted. "The files are safe." You spoke through gritted teeth. "And if anything happens to me, it goes straight to the police." Isabelle laughed. "The police?" "Oh, Naomi. The police are on our side." "Marcus didn't Thorne send you here?" "Of course not. Because he's our police." No. This couldn't be true." "Marcus warned you. He told you not to go." "You're lying." You raised your voice. "Is that so?" Victoria stepped forward. "Then why isn't he here? Why didn't he come to protect you?" She was right. Marcus hadn't shown up. Maybe it really was a trap. Maybe Bradley had called it an insurance policy, because he didn't want people to know about the money. Isabelle pointed the gun at Mrs. Price. "I'm asking one last time. Where are the files?" "In my bag." You whispered desperately. "In my bag. In the car." "Go get it." Isabelle nodded at Mrs. Price. "You have 5 minutes. If you don't come back, this woman will be." You had no choice. You ran outside. When you reached your car, your hands shaking, you grabbed your bag. The flash drives were there, but one of them was missing. The third drive, the one with the photos. You'd left it at home. You'd made a backup. You'd been smart. As you were coming back, you heard a car, a black car. It stopped. Marcus Thorne landed. "Naomi, stop." He came running to you. "Don't go in there." "I know." You nodded. "Isabelle's there. Victoria's there. They've taken Mrs. Price hostage, and you're with them. Aren't you, Marcus?" The detective's face tightened. "No, listen. It's complicated, but I am not with Isabelle. Bradley asked me. He asked me for help to figure out Project Phoenix. I was running an undercover investigation, but Isabelle found out. She stole my phone. She sent this message. Prove it." You looked at him coldly. "If you prove it, I will believe you." Marcus opened his jacket. Inside was a tape recorder. "I'm recording everything. Every conversation I have with Isabelle. Bradley's death. All of it. But I'm not enough alone. I need you, Naomi. The Phoenix files. The flash drives. With these, we can destroy Isabelle." You looked into his eyes. Was he telling the truth? Was he lying? You couldn't tell anymore. "Mrs. Price is dying inside." You pointed to the warehouse door. "They said 5 minutes." Marcus nodded. "Okay. We'll go in together, but I'll be right behind you. Give me the flash drives. I'll get them." "No," you pulled back. "I'll give it to you myself. You just save Mrs. Price." Isabelle was waiting when they entered together. Victoria was beside her. Mrs. Price was still tied to the chair. "Ah, Marcus." Isabelle laughed. "You've finally arrived." "You're late." Marcus reached for his gun. "It's over, Isabelle. The cops are outside. I was radioing." "Walkie?" Victoria's voice was full of sarcasm. "Who did you call, Marcus?" "Chief Reynolds. He's with us too." "Or Detective Harper. He's with us too." "It's all Marcus. Project Phoenix isn't just money laundering. It's a police protection system. We're untouchable." Marcus's face paled. He realized the truth. The trap wasn't just for Naomi. It was for Marcus too. Isabelle pointed the gun at Marcus. "Drop the discs. Both of you." or this old woman will learn what she needs to learn now. Naomi pulled the flash drives from her bag and dropped them on the floor. Marcus pulled out his gun and dropped it on the floor. Good boys. Isabelle looked at Victoria. Collect. As Victoria walked forward, Naomi noticed something. Mrs. Price's hands were untying. The woman was calm, quiet, trying to untie her. How? Who was helping? Then he saw it. In the darkness, between the shelves, a shadow was moving. There was someone else. Victoria collected the flash drives. Is that all? Yeah. Naomi swallowed. That's all. Don't lie. Isabelle stepped forward. There should be 3 discs. There are 2 here. The third one is at home. Naomi told the truth. I got a spare. Isabelle's face tightened with anger. Stupid woman. Victoria, go look at her car. But at that very moment, the shadow moved. Someone emerged from behind the shelves. He was armed. He pointed it at Isabelle. Hands up. It was a female voice. Familiar but stern. Everyone turned. Isabelle and Victoria were shocked. The woman stepped into the light. Naomi's heart stopped. This couldn't be happening. She had his face. Same hair. Same eye color. Same height. It was like he was looking at an old photograph of himself. Hello, Isabelle. The woman smiled coldly. Do you remember me? Isabelle's face. You. But you're dead. You died 6 years ago. I'm not dead. The woman pointed the gun at Isabelle's heart. I just got lost. With Bradley's help. And now I'm back. Naomi didn't understand. Who are you? The woman turned to him. There were tears in her eyes. My name is Celeste Morrow, Bradley Caldwell's first wife. Sometimes a person reaches a point in life where nothing feels the same anymore. Breaths are short. Thoughts are chaotic, and the heart is constantly on high alert. It's as if an invisible burden has settled on the shoulders, and the days blur together. A battle is fought unknown to anyone, and without a single word being spoken. A subtle ache spreads within, signaling that something has changed. This ache is the first sign of the approaching storm, and from that moment on, nothing truly remains the same. Celeste Morrow, Bradley's first wife. The words kept turning in his mind, but they made no sense. Had Bradley been married before? He'd never told you. Never. You were shocked. Celeste's voice was soft, but the gun was pointed at Isabelle. I understand. Bradley didn't tell you because he was protecting me. He was protecting us. Us. You struggled to get the words out. Celeste nodded. 6 years ago, Bradley and I were happily married, until Isabelle came into our lives. At the time, Bradley owned a small consulting firm. Isabelle came in as an investor. Then she became his partner. Then, she tried to take over everything. Isabelle snorted. It's all lies. Shut up. Celeste's voice hardened. Isabelle fell silent. When Bradley discovered your true colors, he wanted to turn you over to the police. But Isabelle, he targeted me. I saw the men enter my house. I saw their guns. I had to run that night. Bradley helped me. Fake death certificate. New identity. Secret life. 6 years of hiding. Until Bradley texted me. When? Marcus asked. He too was in shock. 3 months ago, he said, Celeste, Isabelle is back. And this time she's targeting someone else. Naomi. From that moment on, we hatched a plan. Bradley gathered the Phoenix Project files. He amassed the evidence. And he contacted Marcus. But Isabelle, she was too quick. She killed Bradley. Tears flowed uncontrollably. Bradley had sacrificed himself to protect you. He had sacrificed everything to protect Celeste. So what happens now? Victoria's voice was trembling. She was afraid. Celeste smiled. But it wasn't a sweet smile. It was a smile of revenge. Justice will be served now. Marcus, take off the handcuffs. Marcus sprang into action. He handcuffed Isabelle and Victoria. He untied Mrs. Price. The old woman hugged Naomi. Child, whispered Mrs. Price, they lured you into a trap. But Celeste saved me. She found me hours ago. We waited for you all to arrive. Naomi, he looked at Celeste. Bradley's note. Anti-insurance policy. He wasn't sending money to Marcus. He was sending it to you, wasn't he? Celeste Morrow. Not CM. He coded it with a different system. You were his insurance policy. Celeste nodded. Bradley was so clever. He coded everything in a way Isabelle could never decipher. And now, she picked up the flash drives. Now these records, These documents will be the end of Isabelle and all her Phoenix Project partners. You can't do this, Isabelle screamed. We are so strong. We have people in the police. We have people in the court. Marcus looked cold. The cops have been running this operation for 3 months. Celeste contacted them directly after Bradley's death. Now all the Phoenix associates are under surveillance. Tomorrow morning, they'll all be caught in a simultaneous operation. And you, he turned to Isabelle. Bradley, you will be tried for Caldwell's murder. Victoria collapsed to the floor. She started crying. Naomi, please. I needed money. I had debts. Isabelle made me. Shut up. My voice was cold. You felt nothing for your betrayed friend. No pity. No anger. Just emptiness. You used me, Victoria. You used our 10-year friendship. You caused Bradley's death. I have nothing to talk to you about. Police sirens could be heard outside. Marcus had turned on the radio. FBI agents swarmed in. Isabelle and Victoria were taken in too. Custody. Mrs. Price was taken to the hospital by ambulance. You and Celeste went outside. The sun was setting. The sky was a reddish-orange, just like that day, the day of the funeral. Do you like Bradley? Celeste asked quietly. You nodded. Yeah. I loved it. He loved you too. Tears welled in Celeste's eyes. He loved me too. But you know what? Sometimes love can't save people. Sometimes love puts people in greater danger. Bradley tried to protect us both, and it destroyed him. So now, you looked at him. What happens now? Celeste smiled slightly. I'll disappear again. I have a new identity. A new life. But you'll stay here. You'll preserve Bradley's legacy. His company. His name. His memory. Can you do it? A strength surged through her. Bradley's voice seemed to echo in her ears. Naomi, you are strong. You can do it. Yes, you spoke with determination. I will. Celeste hugged you. It was a short but heartfelt hug. So, goodbye, Naomi. Caldwell, I hope we never see each other again, because that means we're safe. And then Celeste walked into the darkness. Lost, just like 6 years ago. But this time, not out of fear, but for freedom. As time passes, the shadows of emotions become more pronounced. Seemingly insignificant details begin to appear as signs in one's mind. Every action becomes more meaningful, every silence a heavier mass. Unconsciously, one begins to piece things together. This realization is both frightening and inevitable. Things ignored can no longer hide themselves. And so, the story progresses toward a point of no return. You got in your car. You drove home. You picked up Bradley's picture. That smile. That look like he knew everything. Thank you, Bradley, you whispered, for protecting me, for sacrificing everything. And now I will protect your name. You answered the phone. Marcus had called. Naomi, the FBI is reviewing the files. All members of the Phoenix Project will be arrested by morning. Isabelle and Victoria will be tried for murder. You are free. Thank you, Marcus. One more thing. Marcus's voice softened. Bradley has a will. His lawyer will call you tomorrow. But you should know this. Bradley left everything to you. The company, the money, everything. And he left a note. It says, Naomi, you were my queen, and queens are never defeated. Get your revenge. But then live on. Live for me. The phone cut out. You brought Bradley's picture to your lips. You kissed it. For the last time. I will live, you said. I will live for you. And I will see that justice is served. 3 months later, you were in the courtroom. Isabelle Reed and Victoria Ashford sat in the defendant's chair. The jury announced its verdict. Guilty of first-degree murder. Isabelle's face was pale. Victoria was crying. But you felt nothing. Just relief. Justice had been served. The sun was shining when he left court. Spring had arrived. A new beginning. Caldwell, the consultancy, was now yours. All of Phoenix Project's dirty money had been returned to the government. The company was clean, strong, and respected. And you were no longer the Black Queen. You were no longer a widow. You were no longer a victim. You, Naomi, you were Caldwell. A survivor, a fighter, a winner. Bradley's grave. His name was carved on the stone. Bradley James Caldwell. Beloved husband, protective spirit. You left a rose. Rest in peace, Bradley. I took your revenge. And now I live, just as you wanted. When you turned, You saw Celeste at the cemetery exit. Or maybe you thought you did. She was there for a moment. Then she was gone. Maybe you'd imagined it. Maybe not. And you were a queen. As time passes, something quietly unravels within a person. The unacceptable truth reveals itself at the most unexpected moments. Emotions intensify, thoughts sharpen, and perspectives shift. The bonds between them are strained. Invisible threads begin to unravel, little by little. On one hand, one longs for confrontation, yet on the other, one fears it. But running away is no longer the solution. Each step is taken toward the truth. And at that moment, the story takes a shape that can no longer return to its former state. The feeling that something is wrong grows stronger. Details previously overlooked suddenly loom larger. A new sign lurks in every silence. Emotions clash, thoughts tire, and the heart prepares for the truth. At some point, one realizes one cannot hide, because the truth doesn't wait for the right moment to emerge from the darkness. From that moment on, the story rapidly deepens and shifts direction.